So you want to start a YouTube channel that actually helps people, but you're not too sure how to make it feel real, especially if you're getting started. Look, I get it. You don't need a big team or fancy editing or perfect lighting. All you need is a phone to get started. In fact, that's where every successful channel starts. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the lessons that I've learned building a small information channel but actually growing it. The mindset shifts, the little hacks, and the small little habits that make it easier to show up consistently. And most importantly, connecting with your audience. That's even if you're not feeling confident on camera. If you've ever thought something along the lines of, I have information to share but nobody's actually going to listen to me, this video is for you. So the very first thing that you need is somewhere where you're comfortable filming. This can be in your house, just like I am right here, filming at somewhere that I'm used to, that I'm comfortable with, that I can show up consistently. But to you, that might not be your house. That might be in your car. That might be somewhere in a park, for example. Now, outside can be a little bit of a different vibe because you have all sorts of things that interfere with what you're doing. So there's people walking by, there's tons of things that you're not in control of. So it can be a bit harder to film outside, but if you're comfortable in doing so, then great. If you have a great space to film, great. But I've seen people that film in their cars and it works perfectly. In fact, their channels sometimes grow faster than the ones that are super edited and flashy and all sorts. In fact, I've seen a retired person that's getting millions of views and he's just filming in his car. So things like that can work. All you need to see is find a place where you can film consistently. Now the next thing that we're going to talk about is gear. Look, I'm filming with an iPhone, and if you're filming with any iPhone that's after COVID, it should be alright. And if you're filming on Android, I don't know why you would do that, but still the camera works. I'm just an Apple guy, so let me know in the comments what you think. But it's all good. If you have an Android phone, film with your Android. As long as it's after COVID, it should be right. If you have anything that you should upgrade, it's the sound. I upgraded my mic actually not too long ago. This is a DJI Mini if you're interested. And the sound is super important. So make sure you have good sound, but if you only have your phone, film with your phone. As for the lighting, you don't really need anything fancy. I have sunlight that's coming directly on my right, and I have a small little lamp that most of the time I forget to turn it on. So nothing crazy. This lamp was before I started YouTube, it was there, so I just thought might as well use it. But you don't really need anything as long as you're not filming in the dark. That would be different. But if you have some sort of sunlight that's hopefully on the side a little bit, then it should be alright. And if you have an iPhone, and probably on Android it's the same, you film on cinematic mode, you film with the camera that's not facing, like not the selfie one, the other one, and it makes the quality better and it makes it look way more professional. But the bottom line is the gear isn't really that important, just find a great space to film. So the next thing that I want to talk about is scripting and not scripting. And different people have different opinions on this, but I actually paid somebody to help me out with YouTube. And one of the things that he mentioned was make sure that you script your videos. It's way better, it flows better, and you'll just be better. And he gave me a full breakdown on how to actually script your videos right to have it go good, basically. So that's what I did. I started to try and do that. But one, it felt fake, and two, I didn't post for 3 weeks because I was struggling to putting everything together. For him, it was working great. His channel was growing. He was getting, subscribers, views, and comments, and all that stuff. So it was great. But for me, it just didn't work out. So what I do instead is I will script my intro. I will take inspiration from other people that are in the same, that would have the same kind of intro. I put it into ChatGPT and say, build my intro basically, and I would just change a few things with that intro. And that intro is 100% scripted. So when you see my videos, the intro will be scripted. That said, the rest of the video is not at all. I have bullet points that I want to talk about because I'm big on going on side tangents that last forever and forgetting the main point. So I do have bullet points, but those aren't scripted. It's just looking at the bullet point and talking about it on camera. That's it. The next thing is when do you record. So a lot of people will try to warm up before. So they might do some sort of sport, a quick warm up like you would do before you go to do any sports. I don't really do that personally. What I do, makes sense, is try to film at the best times possible. So, and that's for your energy. I tend to find out that at 11, 11:30, I'm ready to film. I have more energy. I haven't had lunch yet, so it's not weighing on me. So that tends to be the time for me. And if you have a family, it's probably going to be filming on weekends. In fact, it's Saturday today, and that's just, that's what I do on Saturdays. I will film my videos, sometimes on Fridays. But whenever you have free time, especially if you have kids or something, and if you have a full-time job, you're probably not going to film during the week unless you have some time at lunch or something to film in your car, which would be great. But if you don't, you can always film on weekends. And if you have a time where you film every single week, you know that at that time you're filming, that's great because it makes it way easier to stay consistent and keep posting over and over because you know that at that time that's what you're doing and there's nothing else that's going to interfere if you chose the right time. If you chose a time where it's hectic and you might be able to film if you're lucky, that tends to be different. But if you're actually filming on with something that's a great time and you're able to stay consistent, then it would be a great idea to have the same time every single week, especially if you post once a week. I tend to do that, maybe sometimes twice, but usually once a week. I will try to upgrade you twice, by the way. So a lot of people are paralyzed with creating content. That was my case when I tried to film, script all my videos. They want to put out the best content possible, the perfect content. Instead of trying to be perfect, just try and be consistent and improve as much as possible on every video. That will be a lot better than just hoping for the best. So, or trying to make the best videos, and you'll end up actually making the best videos. The next thing is own your style and look. So, no matter on what side of the spectrum you're at, or if you dress like everybody else, or you dress crazy, or you have a crazy haircut, or anything along those lines, if you walk around like that all day, then that's how you should film. There's very few people that are going to be in a costume. If that's you, film in a costume, but I don't think very many people do that. I don't know why you would do that. But if you walk around on weekends in a certain way, make sure that that's how you show up. My hair is probably not that great. It's, that's just how I am. Sometimes my hair looks alright, sometimes it doesn't. And it's okay. My shirt is just what I've been wearing today. I don't try and change anything because that's how you show up and that's how you're yourself. If you try to be like somebody else, it's going to be very different. I've seen people that wear those blue light glasses and that makes them a lot different because you remember them because they have those glasses. But if you're not wearing any of those, then just don't show up as that, and some people will pick up on something else that you have. The next thing is editing, and that's a big subject because I've seen people that comment that I should have more text, I should have things that pop up, I should have zoom in, zoom out. And in fact, I've tried that. When I first started YouTube, I tried to film videos like that and tried to make them highly edited. And people don't realize how much work there is. In fact, I got sent, a creator, and I can't remember who in the people that commented, and if that's you, hi. And they said this person doesn't edit very much his videos, but they do look premium. I couldn't watch 15 seconds of that video because things were going on all the time. There's sounds, there's zoom in, zoom out, text, all sorts of things that go on. And I'm like, this is like highly edited and took probably a professional, well, it did take probably somebody that's full-time editing the videos. And I don't really like to do that. To me, editing is a band-aid. So if I talk about the person that was getting lots of views at the beginning filming in his car, this person cuts off the beginning, cuts off the end, that's it. If he makes a mistake, it's in the video. And he's getting millions of views. So those videos, especially if it's targeted towards older people, and when I say older, it's like my generation and on, probably even lower, like 25. If you're 25 and up, probably that's you, where you're sick and tired of getting those crazy videos that move all the time. It just is really tiring. So instead, I try to edit my videos as little as possible and think of it as band-aids. So if I go blank too long, then I'm going to edit that part. If I'm looking at my notes, then I'll also do that. But most of it, that's it. And I cut the beginning and the end. Then all the rest is just me being me, and I think that works a lot better. The next thing is experiences. So AI is going to take over on the volume side of YouTube. There's no question. No matter how hard you work, how many uploads you do, AI is going to be better at that than you. The one thing that AI will never be able to do is be a human. So I lived a life, you lived a life, and there's things that happened in your life that you can talk about on camera. For example, I took a course and I talked about it earlier on in this video. Not a course, but a call. And AI will never be able to do that. So if you integrate that with your content and tie it into whatever you're teaching, it will have a lot more impact than just AI talking about something, because people will be able to relate. Maybe they didn't have that happen, but they can see themselves doing something maybe similar, and they know what talking on Zoom will look like. So these human experiences, if you teach through them, you will be able to be so much better than other people, and people will connect with you a lot more. In fact, I've seen tons and tons of channels just blow up because of that, because they were talking about their insecurities and tying that in with their content. If you're trying to be an entertainer, it's going to be different. But if you have a channel that's teaching something, then you can't actually make a video without that's going to do well, because it's bland and you want that information, but at the same time you want to have that human connection, and that's how you build that human connection. The next thing that I want to talk about is create for one specific person. I make videos for people that are over 25 and that have just started a YouTube channel and have some questions about that and want to build something meaningful, possibly a business. And if you're under 25 and you've never posted a YouTube video, but you want to, you're interested in that, you watch my videos, then I'm happy for you to be there and comment down below if that's your case. But if you have one specific person in mind when you create all your videos, that's going to be a lot better than trying to appeal to everyone. So if I made a YouTube channel about YouTube and that's it, then my content will be all over the place. I would go to talk about entertainers and how to go viral. Then I would talk about people that are building YouTube channels about helping people and so on. Instead, I know that I want to help people that also want to help other people to do some skill and possibly open a business. If you're an entertainer, again, you're welcome here, but my content isn't designed to be for you, basically. And if you try to appeal to everyone, you end up appealing to nobody. So I think that's super, super important to have one specific person in mind, have their age, what their life looks like, what they want to achieve, and go from there. If you have a video idea that wouldn't appeal to that specific person, then don't do it. For example, I would never do a video about how to start YouTube as a teenager, because that's not who I'm targeting. But for some other people, that might be a great title. The next thing that I want to talk about is I have been creating videos every single week for a whole year. Every single week I've been posting a video, and there's tons of things that I've learned while doing that. And I made a specific video that you can watch right here that breaks down everything that I've learned so that you don't have to make the same mistakes as I do. So make sure you watch that video. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.